Jess, how are you?
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy
Sorry about
Friday.
the chat.
Great
We'll
to
get it
see you.
fixed. It's so good to see you. I miss you. I'm
Yeah,
further
where are
away.
you? Where are you?
Does anybody want to guess? Has anybody been on my socials? Then you might know.
Well, because
Uh,
our chat is disabled, then they
oh,
can't
that's right. You can't
they
guess.
can't even tell us. I'm sure we'll get chat enabled again real soon. But
Okay, I'll
yeah.
I'll give I'll give some clues. I know you can't guess in the chat. Was told this is my first time in this particular city. I was told it's the best city in Germany, one of the coolest cities in Europe. Amazing street art, which I will see a little bit of tomorrow. And there is something called I think it's called Museum Garden. There's a whole museum area. Does that tell anybody where I am? Jason, would you have guessed it based on those clues?
No. But
Oh, really?
I'm playing I've got this new app on my phone that would be really interesting for you to try called Map Tap,
Okay.
which is trying to help me with geography. So,
Ah,
yeah, so I'm not good at this geography stuff, but
I love that people are being creative
oh,
and
I
using
love people are
Q&A.
using the Q&A. Well, we've got Stuttgart and we've got Cologne. Oh,
Neither of those is correct. And I haven't given like super obvious. Of course, every European city has a beautiful cathedral. There's a beautiful cathedral here that I'll see. Yes, Erica, I'm in Berlin.
oh,
Uh,
nice.
yes, and Liz was guessing Munich. And I haven't seen much of Berlin yet. But my flight was a lot cheaper to go home on Sunday than Saturday, and I'm taking it. Jason, you know how it is. You never pad your trips with like time to actually see the city that you're in. I am all about my Saturday in Berlin tomorrow. I have so many people have given me recommendations. And now I have a buddy. I'm gonna sightsee with Claudia tomorrow. So we'll see how this goes.
Oh, look, people are in.
There they
There we go.
are.
There we go.
Amazing.
It's pretty boring when it's just us.
I
Well,
know.
yeah, exactly. Well, happy Friday,
Randy,
everyone.
John, Jessica.
Now, Jess,
Amazing.
I did not know about this. What's the song? That's that you actually like that song?
It is
Like
one of my hands down top three favorite songs of all time. And if you think the song is amazing, which it is amazing. You guys have to look up the music video for this song. It is the craziest thing you have ever seen, I promise you.
Okay, do you know
Maybe
why I played that song? We
I have
remember
no
when we
idea.
used to, by the way, for all of you guys who are chatting, please change your chat to everyone so everyone
Yes.
can see. Erica said say hi to Claudia for me. Um,
Yeah, I will, Erica. I will.
yeah, but please change your chat to everyone so everyone can see what you guys are writing. Why, do you know why I played that song?
Tell me.
No, do you know why?
Black
Not
Betty.
because thought it was anything to do with you, your favorites or anything.
I don't know. Is it Ram Jam is the name of the band? Do you know? Is it a milestone, an anniversary?
Let's see if anyone can figure it out. Oh, Jess, we have this new now to next swag right here that we could now be sending to people if
Oh yeah,
anyone
we do have
figures it out.
swag.
Yeah. I bet no one's gonna figure it out because
We have
it was
laptop
it
stickers.
was
We
a
have what else do we have?
trucker hats,
Hats. We have our trucker hats.
a complete accident that I found this song, and I had no idea that you liked it. This song is on. Oh, Megan said, "Where are you?" You missed that, Megan. She's in Berlin. This song is on an album by that has Dukes of Hazzard on the
That does
cover.
not surprise me.
Dukes of Hazzard. And you know why we have Dukes of
And I
Hazzard,
know why
right?
you went Dukes of Hazzard. Yes, our guest today has a nice little tie-in.
Are you impressed?
I'm very impressed. This is like the Kevin Bacon 7 Degrees of Separation thing, but
It
like me guessing the song
yeah,
origin.
my goal is that you can't guess it. So what the reason that I choose the songs. So
Oh,
I'm
see,
glad we have our music back, and I'm
we have our
glad this
music
is
back, and Kelly is happier being here than the meeting she was just in. Yes,
Ooh.
Lynn. Wait till you guys meet our guest today. It's like a Christmas present in July.
Our guest isn't wearing jorts.
Jordan. I loved the Dukes of Hazzard too. I,
Bo and Luke
yeah,
Duke. Yeah.
yep. Yep.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm glad Daisy Duke hair. Glad that we're back on Zoom. Um, as when you got, for those of you that have been part of the community now, what is this? Episode 315. Jess and I like to play around a lot, so we were playing around with Circle, and we're like, you know what, this Circle shit stuff isn't. Sorry, I better be careful. Isn't really working. So we moved back to Zoom and changing our architecture a little bit, but you'll see
Yep.
some really exciting stuff that we're going to do with this. We can do so much more weirdly with Zoom now back into socials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you guys for continuing to move with us, and the community is about to grow quite large in the coming weeks. So
I
that's
love
why
it.
we're on Zoom webinar, not Zoom meeting. So good to have everyone here. It's Friday, July 10th, episode 315, the first episode of Q3.
Mm-hmm. Which
Mhm.
is, I was wondering if you were going to keep going. Is that like official for us or something?
It's the official launch of our new venture. So yeah, a lot of fun
I've been
stuff.
out here, Jason, I've been out here yapping about our business and now we're official. We're official now.
Yeah, we're official. Exactly.
Official, official.
Official.
Apparently, I'm getting really good at telling people what we do because it's like I'm walking around at these crazy events and everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Do you know how much of that we need?" I am aware of how much of this we need, all this AI help.
Yeah, so it's been a really exciting week. You want to talk about your week? Oh, first of all, let's start with how we always start. Green,
Yeah.
yellow, red. Green, great. Yellow, so-so. Red, not so good. We may have some newbies here. This is something we've been doing for 315 weeks since COVID started, in really asking people how they are. And the reason we do this is to try to, first of all, A, check-ins are important, the most human thing we can do. And B, just, oh, look, Deb McGrath's here. I always
No, we have the same reaction
I know. I always love when I see
because I
Tammy's
saw Deb
red.
McGrath
Oh
holding a
no.
baby
But now I hate
a
when I
few
see
minutes
some. I
ago.
mean, I love when people are honest, but I hate when I hear someone's red.
I
Um,
know.
sorry.
Chris Babcock, first weekend in a while with nothing to do. And that went with green, by the way. So that makes me very happy.
Yellow
Steph,
headed to green. Let's go, Jennifer.
let's go.
We'll get
Let's
to you.
go.
We're gonna get there. Um, do you have big plans in Berlin tonight?
Tonight, I'm having, you guys are going to be jealous. For those of you who know Claudia or Chloe Tatinelli, we are going to dinner right after this, and then we're sightseeing together tomorrow. I didn't know I was going to get to sightsee together with her tomorrow. She scheduled a later flight just to hang with me tomorrow, and we're going to crawl Berlin and have some fun. She's much more, she's from, Europe, so she's much more familiar with this city than I am. So I guess I have a guide.
Look, Coop's here.
I know.
Yeah, sorry. I get too excited when we see these names. Um, yes, and Tammy, please reach out if can do anything um, to help. Not help, but to
Yes, to
just to
be
talk,
here.
to be, yes,
Yes.
to be human. Um, okay, the next thing we do, one big thing. I have something that I want to share in a few minutes. Deb, change your status to your chat to everyone. That should be a default. We're gonna have to figure that out if we can do that.
Yeah.
So we don't have to keep saying that. Madonna's here. Awesome.
Why does
Um,
this community, this feels like OGs are here, like some like a really original. You guys have been with us for a long time, you guys.
oh,
What?
has Circle been, yeah, has Circle been banned from them or something? Oh, now we lost. Yeah,
People had a time finding us over there.
yeah,
Yeah,
everyone got
yes, just
lost
got
in it.
lost.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're back. We're back together.
So, Jess, what's your one big
Yeah.
thing this week? And for everyone in the chat, once again, for those of you new, we always try to encourage you to share one big thing this week. A milestone, a accomplishment, something that made you feel good,
Aw.
uh, something that we're going to be able to remember and look back on and say, wow, I made an impact this week.
Hmm.
In your life, your family, your industry, your job, whatever it is. So while Jess is
Yes.
sharing hers and I will share mine, I would love it if you'd all in the chat put your one big thing. First offers on HR.com domain name came in, which the
Nice.
minute I saw Deb, I was thinking about that Deb McGrath, who is like, I've said this before, pioneer in the space, and HR.com is an amazing community that we could only hope to be one day. Um, Deb announced her retirement. So I can't wait to see what's next for HR.com and for Deb going forward.
I know. Oh, I love all these things that people are sharing in the chat. So I've had one of those, some weeks I'm washing softball uniforms every single night.
Sorry.
What?
Someone just said they crushed it at Mahjong. Like,
Oh my
now
God.
that is one
See?
big thing. That
That
is
is a
one big thing.
perfect, that
Yes.
is a perfect one big thing. Um, okay, so as I was saying, so I texted you earlier this week, Jason. Some weeks I'm literally washing softball uniforms every single night and emptying the dishwasher and doing normal mom things. And sometimes I'm traveling all over Europe doing uh weird thing. Like this has been a crazy week. Like I'm like, where am I again? What am I doing? 15,000 software developers in one place at this crazy event in Berlin. Like it's been one of those weeks. But my one big thing, literally, I just showed it to you a few minutes ago, was the E letter. The E letter I got from my daughter at camp. There's no communication at camp. I dropped her off on Sunday before I headed to the airport myself. She gave up her phone upon check-in. No comms at camp. Like just living out in the wild, having the best time ever. And this is like a really incredible camp. Like they're doing crazy, like incredible stuff. And last night, I woke up this morning, Berlin time, and checked for her camp photos and stuff online. And I sent her a little message through the message portal every day. And I got an e-letter in Bailey's handwriting. I think she literally had to like handwrite it and fax it into like, I don't know. And it said, "Hi, Mom. Can you send me more money? I want to buy a camp sweatshirt." And she spent all her money so far on Dippin' Dots and, fun things at the canteen. So literally seeing a handwritten letter e-faxed from my daughter at camp in the middle of northern Minnesota while I'm in Berlin is my one big thing for the week.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Can I share the letter?
Yes.
Everyone, take a look at this letter.
Hi, Mom. Can you send more money?
And look at that logo. Look at that logo, Trout Lake Camps. And the
Look at
cabin
her
name,
cabin leader is Dippin' Dots.
Black
They have to,
Maple Cabin Leader Dippin' Dots.
yep. They have to spend, I know her cabin leader's name because I met her when I dropped off Bailey, but the kids don't get to know the real name of their cabin leader. They turn it into a game all week. They try to guess the real name of their cabin leader, and then I think they find out when they check out. Isn't that cute?
So my only question is, we went on the Wibbits,
Or however you
or
spell
however
it.
you spell it. Like what is a Wibbits? Do you know
I
yet?
still have no idea. Can anybody tell me what a Wibbits is?
We went on a Wibbits.
Oh, Jennifer was a counselor. Isn't that the cutest thing ever? Bailey said, "I think I'm going to end up wanting to work here, Mom." Like literally on check-in, she already knew that she was going to love it.
That's awesome. That's a great one big thing. I can't wait to hear
Yes.
what the Wibbits is because um it'll be interesting to see if anyone
Laurel, I found the
Laurel.
same thing. I also Googled it. I don't know if it's a video game platform. Maybe. I don't know. Everything. Wibbits is that camp's big blow up thing or something. Okay. I don't, we will find out what the Wibbits
I
is.
cannot wait to hear. I cannot wait to hear. Uh, so I've had a excite my one big thing just really quickly to share. It's been an exciting week. I was in Charleston, South Carolina, where have some ties working with uh, one of my new co-professors on some really exciting stuff that we're doing in a collaboration between Google, Qualtrics, and what we're doing at Now to Next. So I'm really excited about that. Um, oh, look at Randy. I think Randy
Yes.
just nailed it.
I think a couple of earlier ones did too. These inflatable obstacle course things. That sounds accurate. And didn't Devo have a song, Wibbit's Good?
Oh my gosh. So anyway, I had a good week in Charleston, but my one big thing is Jess, you're I owe you congratulations on making the HR Tech top 100 influencers list. That
It is about damn time. No, I'm kidding.
for as long as I've known you, every year that list has come out, I'm like, why is Jess not on the list? Why is Jess not on the list? Why is Jess not on the list?
Well, the
So
funny thing is, I've always watched that list like a hawk because then I would make you a social graphic and I would make a graphic for Jim Hollandcheck and for Robin and for and what a list and people I love and admire and follow. Like I love that list. But every year I'm like, what the hell? Does a woman have to do? No, I'm kidding. I'm literally kidding. I had no idea that was coming out whenever it came out yesterday or today. Um, and you sent it in our Slack, and I saw it for the first time this morning when I woke up in Berlin, and it made me smile.
good. Well, congratulations. That is it's a big thing for me and for someone that's known you for how long?
Geez,
10
it's
years.
about.
What's
I
interesting,
mean,
go
I'm
ahead.
totally joking about like, lists are lists and we love them and hate them. For me, I actually do love lists to catch people that I don't know and who I would love to follow because our space always could benefit from more voices and sort of up and comers sort of disrupting the industry and that kind of thing. So I saw a lot of new names on that list that I don't know that I need to follow. So love them, like them, leave them. That's how I like to look at lists. It's nice to see the OGs that we owe a lot of credit to for shaping the industry as it's come so far. And there's a lot of repeats on there, as they should be. But I love seeing new names as well.
Can I just share one big thing?
Yes.
This has, and I have to figure out, maybe I'll record a podcast and maybe I'll do that this weekend. This has been the biggest week in AI technology ever.
What did I miss?
No, literally, just in the last 5 days, what models have come to,
Mm,
what tools have come out, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the exponential nature of it is absolutely amazing to me. So, like,
wow.
my one big thing is watching in amazement how fast that's moving. Now, there's a whole other list of issues with it that we have to get to. And I love how Deb just said every week is the new biggest week. But literally, the tools we were talking in the green room, the tools that I was playing with last night, I was like, oh my gosh. Now, unfortunately, we're giving, people that are thinking like it's 1990 still tools like it's 2026. That's a different issue we have to get to, but it's absolutely amazing.
I will say, and then we'll finish our industry talk and we'll move on to a really super cool guest. I will say, being in Berlin, if anybody is familiar with We Are Developers, it's a huge global platform. The event in Berlin is sort of their flagship event. 15,000 developers and AI builders here in Berlin at the biggest event, biggest tech conference in Europe, biggest developer event in the world. They have India and San Jose as well, so there's other places you can catch them, but this event is their biggest. And being immersed in this event, which is all, you guys, it's like it is the nerdiest developer event I have ever, like this is serious high tech. I mean, NVIDIA and Atlassian and GitHub and like the sponsors are insane. The activations are insane. They had a live developer competition on stage, live coding last night, like with a special robe that like it was this is like the Comic-Con of developers. It's insane. And I will tell you, as somebody coming from the people transformation space with my set of lenses and how we're used to talking and people and culture and talent strategy, I will say for a heavy developer event like this, they talk the same way. They talked about the humanity of what they're doing, maintaining their expertise. Like it was so shocking and refreshing to hear that they have the same concerns for themselves and their own industry. And their closing message at the conference was the smartest model in the world is right here. You get to build, like, you're using your ideas, your brain, your heart, you're building the most incredible solutions every single day. You have the most powerful model in your head. I don't care what's being released. And please you use like the brain power and the skill in this room can make better humans, not better tech. So go do that. That was the
I
closing
love
message.
that. I love Jessica just said, I love that people are seeing that. I love that too, because I'm a
Yes.
1000% more creative than I ever have been, A, and B, I can easily see why some of the studies this week about jobs companies that are really all going in on AI are hiring um, more than
Yes.
letting people go, and those companies are growing faster. It's no surprise to me at all. So
Yep.
it's really fun watching this shape up. It's a it's it's a transition to get there,
Yeah.
which we're all gonna
And all
go
these
through.
companies, all of these high-tech companies, 100% of code is being written by AI. And all of these high-tech companies, I mean, almost 100%, all of these high-tech companies that were at this event are still gobbling up junior developers like crazy because this is just a different skill set, a different pipeline development, it's a different strategy. But they like the headlines that we're seeing right now are temporary, I promise. We just need to get the mindset shift, and it's coming.
And all of these companies that have cut out their first year hires and they're missing out on 21, 22, 23-year olds, they're going to
Yep.
be screwed.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
not going to turn out well for them. I hope that's just well, excuse me, it is going to be a short-term thing because, well, the people at our company are making such an impact that are that
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah, I put in the chat, check out ChatGPT work, watch the grandmas talk on the new
Oh, yeah.
OpenAI voice commercial if you can.
So cute.
Uh, Jess and I and our team launched a product this week, and Jess, I don't know if you saw the comments that someone said, "Wow, it actually
Yes.
felt like I actually had fun talking to this tool." They said it sounded like Will Arnett, which was funny to me. That
Yeah.
someone's still adding humanity to it, but yeah, I mean, it's so cool to see movement, I guess is what
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that, and we can go back to what we said in the green room: a fool with a tool
With a tool.
is
It's
still a
still a
fool.
tool.
Speaking of
That
which, let's get to our guest.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to have Erin come on camera with us. I met Erin Vogel. For those of you, I'm going to set you up, Erin. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you may remember a couple of guests we had a few years ago, Mike Metcalf and Sean Pete, the NASCAR race car team, right? And we had them come on because they have amazing messages around leadership and culture and teamwork and all of that. And so I have to thank, and Mike, if you're still hanging out in the chat, I have to thank Mike for coming like a good boomerang moment, coming back around my way and saying, I have somebody you need to meet. You know,
I
when
didn't
somebody
even know
says,
that's how you got introduced.
mm-hmm,
Wow.
yep.
Mike.
Ah, there
Thank
he
you,
is.
Mike. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
That was one
And
of my, out of 315 episodes, that was one of my favorite. Now, Aaron's will be now.
and
Sorry,
now
Mike.
and now Erin is here. But I love intros like that. When somebody says, I have somebody you need to meet, like you instantly know. So, Erin, thank you for coming on with us. We cannot wait to introduce you to our community. Aren't these people amazing? Look at this chat. Now you know why we do this. This is like our favorite part of the week.
This is so cool. I'm just loving everybody's messages. I'm loving the creative thinking and the personality that I'm seeing here, and it
Yes.
fits right in with what you and I talked about and what you're saying. So it's really really cool. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I'd love you to tell everybody a bit of your story. You're a multifaceted woman with such an incredible story. So I don't even know where to start. Uh, Maybe with, well, I'm not even going to pick a headline. I'd like you to just tell your story and introduce you to everybody in the community.
All right. Well, I'm Erin Vogel. I am a somewhat former race car driver and now team owner and founder. So I own a racing team. We are still growing. We're racing currently in sort of a grassroots series, but the goal is to try to get to pro racing again, which I did about 3 years ago. For about 5 years, I was involved at SRO GT World Challenge, where I became the first woman to win a race in my class, in the Pro-Am class in GT World Challenge globally, because SRO owns racing series in Asia and Europe and Australia. And so that was a very cool milestone. And it did what I was hoping it would do, which was to inspire more women to go racing, because I know that I'm not the only one out there that loves fast cars and that loves competition. And I think there was just a dearth at the time of people just sort of taking the leap. And so that was really, I think that really is my mark that I'm hoping to leave on the world in general, is to just like go do things that seem audacious and hope that others will be inspired by it to do the same things and or hopefully one day better things. So right now my racing team is providing seats only for female drivers and trying to just increase the number of women that hopefully go. We're using this grassroots series as a development platform. And so we're hoping to increase the number of women that can raise through the ranks in sports car racing. And we're teaching them to be better drivers, better humans, and better business people. I have a really great partner in our racing team, Claudia Folga of 4040 Living, and she has created the Driver as CEO program. And so one thing that they're doing this year is they're having webinars that talk about how to build your brand, how to be the CEO of your own career as an entrepreneur, solopreneurship. And so we're trying to provide training to help them become a complete driver and a complete human who can go on after driving and be successful in any career.
So Erin, I love Bob's question. He just said, curious what Erin drives off the track, which we'll
Off the
get to in a
track.
second. But I'd love for you to talk about like, is this as you were growing up, is this how you envisioned what you'd be doing right now?
I definitely didn't see myself in racing. I did not start out racing as a young person. I've always loved going fast. I skied and I rode horses, but never competitively because I think I let the world kind of tell me that like if you aren't, I kind of listen to that voice that's out there that says if you're not successful, why bother? And I think it took me until my mid-20s to realize that that's like the most BS thing ever. But I did have an experience when I was young. I joke about it when I give keynotes that I'm a preschool dropout and yet I'm still successful. But I quit preschool because I was told multiple times, and once by a teacher, that I couldn't do something because I was a girl. And I don't know if anyone else's preschools were like this, but our bathrooms were shared bathrooms. Like the boys and girls went to the bathroom together. So we knew we were different, seen it. And yet out on the playground, I wasn't allowed to do something where like maybe a little bit of my tummy was showing, or, I was being too masculine, which I mean, as a kid, like there's no too masculine or feminine, you're just kids. And
Yeah.
so I think I always wanted to find a way to change that narrative and that mindset. And so that's really what I'm trying to do is I'm out trying to prove that in a lot of ways, it doesn't matter whether we're a man or a woman or any other thing, that we are all capable of doing what we put our minds to, and that if you are willing to do the work, you can achieve what you dream of. And I know that's a little esoteric, but I mean, ultimately, it's like, why are we creating these divisions? And I think this like
Right.
it fits in with what you guys do too. Like, AI and humans, they're like you say, can be seen as such different things. But if you can learn how to work together, and like we're using AI in our team in little ways and bigger ways, but it's actually helping us in the pace of the world that we experience, especially in motorsports. The AI is sort of helping us like almost come back into touch with our humanity. At least it is for me as a leader. And we're using it as a way to free up time for other people, to be with their families and still get the work done. And so I think it all sort of integrates in a beautiful way.
And so, Erin, before you answer the question about what you drive off the track, back to Bob's question, I have to say congratulations on your new addition. In the green room, we
Yes.
talked about Erin having a 6-month-old. So I just had to throw that out there because that
That
might
detail
influence.
might make people guess a minivan. I'm not going to guess a minivan. I'm going to
It
go
might
no minivan for
influence.
Erin Vogel.
I'm no minivan. I'm sort of halfway in between though. I used to love the sports cars, right? I've had, sporty Lexuses, and I had a Focus RS for a bit. I had a BMW M Coupe, but right now I'm in a Cadillac XT6. I think that's the right one. So
Yeah.
it's like their bigger SUV, but not as big as the Escalade, but it's naturally aspirated V6. So I still like have to say I will die on the hill that I love a naturally aspirated car. We're racing turbocharged cars because you can't win with a naturally aspirated car anymore, but I just love them. So that's what I'm driving right now.
Holy cow, Jess, there's a new naturally aspirated.
I love talking to people who use language that is unfamiliar to me. which was all week in Berlin, actually.
For sure.
Like all this tech talk, and I'm pretty techie, all this tech talk. I love hearing you describe that, Erin. I'm like, that sounds really good.
Yeah,
Yes, naturally aspirated, Lynn. You heard correctly.
Lynn
The
got
Motor
it.
City thanks you. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
Now,
so
like
naturally
everyone,
aspirated.
all of a sudden, naturally aspirated is getting a big ton of searches right now.
Yeah,
yes.
it just means it's the airflow that comes into the motor to create the uh wow, my baby brain, to create
Yeah.
the explosion that happens, the little in the pistons that drives the motor,
Yeah.
that the air is forced in naturally, through
Mike
like
is helping you. Combustion.
combustion. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, the combustion, the air that drives the combustion, comes into the engine naturally, but just being pushed in through motion or drawn in through
Yeah.
fans, rather than like a forced induction, which is a turbocharger or a supercharger, which actually creates like artificial airflow by spinning things. And so you
Look
get
at Lynn
different
said
kinds
it
of,
breathes like a human. Is
it
that a
breathes
good
like a
description?
human. I love
Aw,
that. Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so just it does different things for the torque and the horsepower. They just sort of they create different things. And ultimately in racing, the reason that the turbocharged motors are becoming more popular is you can have a smaller motor that outputs more horsepower
Hmm.
because of that forced induction. So like that's why the naturally aspirated motors aren't as competitive, because they're bigger and heavier. And in racing, you need to be light to be fast.
I think motorsports should help the AI industry a little bit. Help with put out some horsepower at a cheaper cost per unit.
There
Well,
you
and
go.
translation,
Yes.
yeah, and translation. So, Erin, I'd love to like when you think about, you said you were a driver, and now you're leading a company. So there's a huge leadership discussion or a vein I feel like we
Mm.
should be going down here, which is, when you were a driver, I assume that would be more of an individual contributor kind of function to
I know
now.
enough to say there's a lot of team behind that too.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. But she
Yeah.
was an individual contributor working with a
Yes.
team, now to
Right.
the point where you're leading teams. And I'd be curious about, kind of the difference between you doing it and building a system where other people can do it.
Yeah, yeah. It's been the most interesting journey. And I'm sure that anyone who builds something that comes from being a piece of the puzzle to being the cornerstone of the puzzle, I guess, if you will, probably experiences this. But you are this part of this team as a race car driver, especially in endurance racing, which was where I ended up, because you can learn a lot there because you're racing in the same car with other drivers, so you have data to share. So there's some
Hmm.
AI connections. We
Yeah.
get a lot of data in racing to learn how to drive better, to learn what the car is doing, how can we optimize the car better. So I ended up in endurance racing, where the team is even more important. You can in sprint racing kind of get away with being a little bit more of a solo show, but you really, to be competitive in endurance racing, you all have to work together so well. And so you think and you understand how that all works. But I realized as a driver how much I was shielded from. And so trying to learn how to operate the team from the top and how to choose people has been a really big and very cool lesson, in terms of, how do you create a team where the personalities all work together? How do you create a team where you're not too heavy in one type of skill? How do you create a team that, I don't know, that has a good culture? So it's been a really interesting learning experience, because I guess a lot of it I thought would sort of naturally fall into place if I made certain decisions, and it has to be so much more intentional than that, I'm learning. And that's where I've been using ChatGPT a lot lately, to like, how do I have this conversation with somebody? How do I have, how do I give feedback in a way that is, to the point but still compassionate, and let's, so because I think as humans, confrontation is difficult, right? It's a survival thing. Like, we don't want to have confrontation if we don't have to. And yet, in order to have a team that runs efficiently, and I think that's what it really is that you have to be efficient in motorsports, especially. We're not a full-time company. I mean, we are, in the sense that we have the cars and we have a few people that work in the shop, but the majority of the 30 people on our team only see each other for 4 days out of the month. And so how do
Mm.
you come together and work well in that type of setting? And in it when, at 6 a.m. it's go, 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 and it's go, go, go until 11 p.m. And then the next morning, and there's no time to like ease into it really. And so, we've been trying to build a culture where people aren't afraid to talk to each other. They aren't afraid to give feedback and receive feedback. And so I'm having to learn from the top how to do that, which I thought I knew how to do, but I'm having to learn how to do that in a much more intentional way.
I love that. Do you want me to? Jason's waiting to take my cue. I have a question. Do you want to go, Jason?
No, no, no. Literally, like, yeah, Erin, sometimes Jess and I talk over each other. And like on our last meetup before the July 4th holiday, like I was so, fascinated, which I am about every human I meet, that she didn't say a
True.
word the whole time. So like I have questions, but I'm gonna hold them. And instead I'll just type that I just saw your mail truck behind you. I'm like, I wonder if that mail truck's naturally aspirated.
Oh,
No,
that's what you meant. I was like, mail trust.
no, she
You-
said trust while I was
Yeah.
typing. That's just a brain issue. Sorry. But Jess, go ahead. I'm done
I do
talking.
have a question, and I'm thinking I would have had this question anyway, probably, but I saw a video on my Instagram this morning about training professional athletes, and it was to the point. The point was, women athletes are trained differently. If you're smart, you're actually paying attention to the fact that women are built differently. They need to be trained differently. They have different strengths, different opportunities. Like literally, if you recognize the difference, you should train them differently than male professional athletes. And I thought that was such a like yes, obviously,
I
like it
think,
seemed obvious to me. And I think
yeah.
sometimes we think everything needs to be, oh, there's no difference, treat everybody. No, there. So when you say I only offer seats to women as race car drivers, and then you train and you develop and you coach and you peer coach, is there a different approach?
Yeah, yes, I think so. I don't, I think like what you said about, obviously we need to approach it differently. Like, yeah, I think that's the difficulty in the conversation about equality, especially when
Yeah.
I mean, any kind of equality, right? Is that not everybody's going to come from the same experience, background, not everybody's going to be built the same way. Um, so it's about equality of opportunity, right? So that's what I'm doing with offering
Yes.
seats only to women. I'm creating equality of opportunity by being the only place where we don't have male drivers. And I know that seems again, it's just the whole conversation of affirmative action. Is it too far the other direction? Well, I think until change happens to the point where the opportunities are more equal, there has to be some of that, right? And so that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. But I think in terms of the approach in actually working with more women, um, I I I don't I think it's different only because we're trying to change the way everything is done.
Yeah.
We recognize that a lot of times the way that things have been done, and Mike I'm sure talked about this a ton when he was on there, and that's why I reached out to him when I heard his keynote, because the way that things have just been done traditionally, I don't think it works for men or women. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that pushing people past their limits and expecting things without providing tools, expecting performance without providing help, and expecting people to read each other's minds, I don't think that works for anybody. So I think
No.
what
Thank you.
exactly, yeah, I
Yes.
think we're just trying to show that a slightly softer approach, and I mean, I even hate to use the word soft, but I think just a more
Human. Yeah.
human, yes,
Yeah.
thank you, to use your nice
Humane.
word,
Yeah.
humane approach actually produces results. And there was a time a couple years ago where I was like, oh my God, is this going to work? But it was really just because we were still trying to find that balance. And I think we still are, and we probably always will be. But, last year it's finally started working. And the first event, it was a year ago this month, actually, where we got our first podium finish. And
Wow.
we had been, for 2 races, we had been racing right up at the front of the field. And we had some bad luck and some different things. It took us some time to actually stand on the podium, but we were waiting for the podium ceremony to start. And one of the guys from another team turned around and said, hey, it was a lower class car. We do multi-class racing in this series. So it's a little bit slower car. And he said, I just have to say, how wonderful it is to race with you guys out there, because you are polite. You don't dive bomb us and going into the corners. You're patient. You know you're going to get past us anyway. And it's just really a pleasure to race with you because, you know, you're not pushing anybody around. You're not doing damage to other people's cars. And yet here you are on the podium. So it just proves that,
Wow.
I think I'm adding the part that says it just proves that you don't have to push people around to succeed. That
Oh,
was the coolest
look at
moment.
Jason chomping at the bit. He's loving this.
Dying. I'm dying. I'm dying. So Erin, I've been blessed in my time to, lead companies and start companies, and, it's scary as hell, but at the same time, you just hope you're doing the right thing. I hope that's the way, or it's probably how you feel also.
Every day.
And I've tried to instill this concept of, kind candor, which is, how do you be blunt, and Jess is very candorous towards me often, but always kind.
Yeah.
When he says, I hate interrupting you so much, I go, then don't.
I,
Kind candor.
so I'm so I'm
Continue.
I'm curious, Erin, how did you instill that into your team so that to get a comment like that? Is it based on
Mm.
who you brought onto the team? Is there an induction ceremony, a hazing to say, hey, you're going to be kind or you're not going to be on the team? Like, can you talk about that?
And if
Yeah.
it's culture, how do you maintain that culture? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I'll be honest, it's something that is not easy and that I struggle with. And it's something that I think every year we're, trying to hone in on it more. I would say for me, it definitely started with who we wanted to work with in the beginning. It was only choosing people that I felt fit the culture. Like there are a bunch of amazing female drivers out there who maybe, I think sometimes still live that old school mentality more than I want to. And so, I was mindful about like, because I'm trying to do this sort of mentorship model where I have more experienced drivers and less experienced drivers working together so that we can lift the less experienced ones up and give opportunities to the more experienced ones as well. And I was very mindful about who I selected for that because I really wanted it to be to what I wanted, whatever trickled down to fit what I was trying to accomplish. And that's why Mike and I think jive really well. And why I reached out to him is when I saw his keynote, he talks about that culture is caught, not taught. But I think also
Oh, I
what I'm
love
doing there
that.
by
I love that. That's
saying
really important. Caught,
so
not
important,
taught. Yeah.
but you can't get people to catch culture if you aren't also intentional about it. So it has become more a part of the way we talk in our meetings. We Claudia, the one who's created the driver as CEO program, also helped me like solidify and create a list of like what are our real values and how does that inform our standards. And so like now I try to open our meetings with like, okay, I've really been thinking about this value this month. And so, going into this race week, and I really want us to focus on preparedness. And so that when we get there, we're not rushing around. I want us to focus on being able to be present and be present with each other and present with what we're doing rather than looking too far ahead or too far in the past. Or, what are some of our other values are, kindness. And I love that kind candor, like feedback, tell each other how it is, but don't be mean about it. So, I'm trying to sort of be more intentional without being pedantic about it, I guess. And then I think that is spreading. It's helping that culture spread. And it's sometimes the hard part that's happened this month is that sometimes it means we have to part ways with certain people if they're not catching what we're putting down. And it's hard for me because I think I'm a person who sees the good in everyone. And so it can be really hard for me to realize that the good is not going to like overtake the tough things that are happening in a certain relationship, maybe. But it does happen sometimes. And so you have to be able to, as a leader, have to be able to recognize that for the good of the rest of the team. And once I finally made those decisions this month, we did let a couple people go. I had really positive feedback from the rest of the team because they were uncomfortable around these people because they
Yeah.
weren't fitting in with our values. So yeah, it's so layered and nuanced.
Yep.
It's yeah.
I love that. No,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that answer. And for me, just I asked my wife a question last night where there was not a good answer to it, and I kind of regret asking her it. I'm not going to go over the question, but I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not sure there's a good answer to either. But or it might be obvious to you. I've really built this up now. Which one made you more proud? Someone saying we love racing with your team or getting onto the podium?
Oh, this the first thing, the comment. I mean, I was very proud of the podium, but I guess in a way I believed it was inevitable. I hoped it was inevitable, but that comment, that's because that's really what my mission is to change people's minds about things. And so to hear that, that was confirmation that it's working.
I love that.
That's so
Yes,
cool.
yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. Um, but I didn't know. But it's important. That's a big self-awareness piece that you have that you should be proud of as well.
Well, thank you.
I
Appreciate
love
that.
the purpose behind your story. You talked about making an impact. Mike knew we would like each other because I feel the same way. I literally think about making an impact by making things possible for more people. It really, like, if I have to be the one to push through or to create the space or whatever, that's fine, but it has very little to do with me. It's sort of like this is for, yes, I have three daughters, it's for them, but it's for like everybody else. It's like I want to pull everybody up with me as we go. And so I love that purpose behind your mission as well.
Yeah.
And just around that, Liz called out Gary Vaynerchuk, and Gary, I mean, Liz, you'll recognize Kind Candor, that's his, which is where I learned that from. And one of Gary Vaynerchuk, for those of you that don't know, is a fairly famous entrepreneur. Um, and one of the things he talks about, and interesting, Liz, how you called the get rid of toxic people. Uh,
Mm,
he talks about a lot that you never regret you regret keeping people longer than you regret letting them go. And I guess Aaron, those aren't his words, those were my words, the way I just said that. But I'm curious, like with those people you let go, as much as it was hard, and you're probably a little bit based on listening to, you're a little bit of an empath like myself, where I feel sorry for these people. Now, what are they going to do? Like, I've been taking care of them, et cetera, et cetera. You know, maybe they weren't toxic, but they weren't the right fit, right? Is
Right.
that, I don't know if that's fair to say, and I'm not trying to take Liz's words and change them, but sometimes the right fit is doesn't necessarily mean toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the hard part. I think the toxic ones are easy because I've had those too, where maybe they do one race with you or two, and you're like, no, just not a fit, and you don't have to feel bad about it. It's the ones that on many levels actually do fit, and that you become close with. I mean, some to the point of like, at a certain point, like being like family because they were with you from the beginning of this crazy journey. But then realizing that I mean, and the hardest part is, people change, and sometimes the reasons that they change aren't positive reasons, and you feel bad, but at the same time, you have to be able to separate those things, right? You can't let them overflow into your life, or it is going to be if you and then if you can't step back from that, I feel like I like one person in particular, like I love him. He's still, I hope, a great friend. But he had some stuff going on that I think was overflowing into his work life. And I
mm,
couldn't,
yeah.
for the health of my team, I couldn't let that go on. When he wasn't hearing the feedback, which also, to be fair, may have been too gentle because I cared about him as a person. And so that's, I'm still looking at some of these things and also trying to see my part in them and recognize that I am still learning to give better feedback that is more direct and yet still kind, because I think, we all recognize too that there are times when somebody, no matter how kind you are, they're not going to be able to hear what you're saying without it hurting. And that's hard. That's really hard as a leader.
Aaron,
Yeah.
last question,
Go
Jess,
ahead.
I promise.
No, you're good.
What do you think about youth today?
Oh.
Because like
Yeah.
it's a big thing that we care about, which is how do we grow, I think I'm sick of youth getting shit on.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that I feel that way because I feel like I've done it myself, the way I've raised my children,
Yeah.
um, you know, or our children, excuse me. But at the same time, like I think they have amazing ideas. They're change makers. I realize that they lived through COVID. I think that's a good thing. They had to change the way they thought really quickly. But I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious as to when you see your team, and without getting into age, which I realize people get weird about that whole topic. To me, there's that beginner's mindset, which is so valuable, and I'd love your thoughts on it.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack around age. Ultimately, I think what I'm learning is that all of it comes down more to personality than to age, because we work with some really young drivers and some really young crew members that you wouldn't guess that they're 21 or 19 or whatever they are. They're so mature, and I don't know if that's the way they're raised or themselves personally, and I'm sure it's some combination of life experience and native um, personality, but and then there's others that struggle, and I think it all comes down to choices. And are you, like I said earlier, it's, are you willing to put in the work? And sometimes to put in the work, you have to learn what that work is. And I think that we're learning that it doesn't really matter if you're older or younger. It's, can you understand what the work is, and are you willing to do it? And I don't know that that has as much to do with age. I would say the one thing I'm seeing that maybe does have to do with age is sometimes I think I think they're still struggling to an extent with that idea of like, oh, well, if I'm not perfect,
Mm,
I'm a failure. I
mm,
think that's where I
interesting.
see them struggle the most. And not all of them do either. Like some of our young people don't struggle with that, but I think more often it's there because as you age, you just are gonna fail, and you're gonna experience more failure, and you're gonna realize it's
Yep.
part of life, and it's hopefully that you realize it's okay.
And
As long as you,
the other word I'm just going to throw out there is grit. Um,
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think and I hate to be saying some of them like this and putting them into a category, but I think there's a level of grit that some
yeah,
youth have, and I think there's
yeah,
some that don't have it.
yeah. And I think I wonder too if like maybe those people just weed themselves out, and then we don't see them as in the kind of work that we do as older people. And so maybe they get a bad rap. The young people get a bad rap because that filtering hasn't happened yet, and they haven't found the place where they actually care about the work that they're doing or whatever it is. I don't think it has so much to do with age as it has to do with, like you say, all those other sort of
Yep.
character elements.
Human variables. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when
Jess,
I
go
think of
ahead.
grit, I think of comfort zone. Like if
Yeah.
unfortunately there I don't I guess I've never thought too much about this, but I don't know if you can really learn grit without going through something hard or
Yeah.
navigating something difficult or stretching yourself outside of your comfort. Like we don't really need to be gritty unless we're trying something hard or new or
Yeah.
challenging. And so kind of like the only way to be gritty or to get, learn grit is to go for it. Do the thing,
Yes.
get uncomfortable, fail. It's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have a really great example of that on our team right now. We let a driver go at the end of last year. She was our she'd come and she'd shown up to our shootout and did an amazing job and impressed all of us, and we invited her to the scholarship seat on the team, and she did great for a while, and then she had some stuff come up in her life that was hard to deal with, and it affected her performance, and she was another one of those people that we just sort of went, okay, it's not working for the team and the mission. We let her go, and she heard what we were saying. It took us actually letting her go because we've been saying it for a couple of races, but she heard what we were saying when that happened. And we invited her back this year for just a trial for one race, and she's completely shifted her mindset. She's doing different work than she was last year, and she's grown tremendously in a couple of months. And so I think sometimes that you kind of have to almost hit rock bottom to realize what you needed to do back then. And if you can see that without there being too much emotion around it, and just sort of look at it analytically, that's what you can move forward through. And I think that's grit, is like that ability to look at something a little bit with some remove and be analytical about it, instead of like just living in those emotions all the time. Use the emotions as data. I've
Yeah.
learned that in therapy the
Yes.
last couple of years with my partners, that emotions are data. And if you
I love
can
that.
see them that way and not live there, you're going to be so much more successful. And I think that is part of what grit is that understanding. And then that helps you push through.
I
Understanding
love
things
it.
helps with everything, right? That's why
Aaron,
dating is
Yes.
can you just really quickly, I know we're almost out of time, but emotions are data. Like, can you just talk about that really quickly? I mean, Lynn just called it out also. I think you like, once again, every one of these episodes, I think we need to create a t-shirt from. I keep saying we should,
I
but
know. Our
like,
merch store is literally going to be mic drop moments from meetups, I
yeah,
swear.
like that one to me is magical. But now I'm curious. Can you talk about it just really quickly?
Yeah, it's the idea that that when you notice a big emotion, you know that that's what it is. You have to notice it, right? You have to go, oh, I'm feeling a big thing right now. Why am I feeling that? Okay, I'm feeling, and what am I actually feeling? Because it's just, it can sometimes it's just somatic, it's just in the body. And you're like, why is my stomach hurting? Or why is my heart beating faster? What's going on? Why is my, okay, I'm feeling anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? Oh, because I'm worried that this isn't going to go well. And that when you can analyze it like that, you still feel the emotion. You're not like trying to bottle it or stuff it down. You're feeling it and you're going, you're kind of like living it and living through it and then going, okay, if I'm feeling that strongly about this thing, I probably need to be more intentional about how I approach it.
Mhm.
And so that, it kind of comes from the psychology of relationships, but I think we can apply it. I mean, well, everything we do is a relationship, whether it's an intimate one or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, the idea is just being able to think through things and not just live through them. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Everybody's grabbing so many mic drop quotes out of the chat from this meetup. Erin, it was an absolute pleasure to be introduced to you, to learn your story. Massive congratulations. I know coming from this event this week, what it's like to be massively outnumbered. Unfortunately, women are massively underrepresented in tech, massively underrepresented at this event. Nothing you can do about it until you change the numbers.
Yeah.
And so literally somebody came up to me today and said, "You are not a developer. You, you, something does not fit here." I took it as a compliment. I really did. Last night I was sitting at a dinner table. I've texted Jason. I said, "I'm the only woman here." I was sitting around an elegant executive dinner table full of CTOs and CIOs, and I was the only woman out of about 30 people at the table. And they gave us they were like, "Here's our dinner talk for tonight, data sovereignty." And I said, "We are not talking about data sovereignty." I'm sorry. There is better dinner conversation to be had. And I was like, "What were you guys going to talk about without me at this table? Data sovereignty? No, we're going another direction." So I know what it's like to be one of the first and few and only in your field and to be making waves and taking up space and having presence and being an example to others. So thank you. From one woman to another, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, way to lead the way with 30 men.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like, we're not doing data sovereignty.
Aaron, it was great to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the community. Love you guys, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a
Thanks,
great weekend,
everybody.
everyone. Thanks,
Take
Aaron.
care.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.